That's not a comic book. Now that's a comic book.
Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Comic Reviews. I am Sid Part 2, and we've got a pretty decent week here. Nothing significant as far as the number of books, but we're going to be doing alright this week. Just a handful of books and trade talk, of course, this week as well. I'm wearing my Vegeta shirt because I just got back from exercising, which is why even though we only have a couple books, it's a later episode. Trying to think of stuff. Speaking of Vegeta shirt, while I was at the gym, I got two compliments on it. One guy was like, "Oh man, where did you get that? I love Dragon Ball Z." And then the other one was kind of neat. I saw a guy wearing a Goku shirt like this, a compression shirt, and he looked at me and goes, and I'm like, "Yeah." So we got some Saiyans invading the gym, is what it comes down to. Anyway, it was a pretty good week. It was fun. Anyway, let's go ahead and talk about what I'm going to be discussing tonight. First off, we have Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, number 2, followed by Guardians of the Galaxy, number 1, Batman, number 63, and for Trade Talk, we'll be discussing Volume 4 of the Allred Dan Slott Silver Surfer Omnibus. Anyway, so decent number of books to talk about this week. That's the good thing. I don't really have many announcements or anything. I saw the Broly movie. Speaking of Dragon Ball Z, I thought it was really good. It's definitely worth your time, I feel. Man, I don't know. I ain't got anything, so we'll go ahead and get into this week's books. Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, number 2. Again, I'm just interested in this because I've seen a bit of Tom Taylor here and there, read a couple short things he's done, and just kind of wanted to get into his stuff more. I really loved the way he pitched this book. I'll say parts of it just feel like, yeah, that's just Spider-Man. That's how Spider-Man is. It doesn't really feel like it's super grounded in any significant way. It just kind of feels like a Spider-Man book, which is fine. Really, I don't necessarily have any problem with it. He calls Johnny Storm to help take care of these 2 kids that he's found in his bedroom while he goes to figure out what happened to their mom. Webs this super strong guy in the face that's been watching his apartment, and the dude rips his own face off and starts, punching the building. Really great moment here. I love this 9-panel grid of Peter trying to stop debris from falling onto the streets, and you got this little live thing up in the corner, and he says, "Hey, down there, hey, move down there," and you still got this little live thing, and then you get this, it's like, "You on the ground, run away, it's coming down," and you just got a chunk of wall, and then Spider-Man's back. And then you get this great page turn, fantastic use of a page turn for Spider-Man holding the wall. And he's got like a great little line here about, "I miss the days when bystanders did a lot less bystanding and did more by running." That's really funny. I really like that. That feels like a very Peter Parker kind of thing. Like, right now, you kind of have to be dealing with the fact that Peter Parker's roommate's a supervillain. But that's not really relevant to the plot. That's a thing that's happening right now in the mainline continuity, and so it's acknowledged, but it's not overbearing. Same with Wilson Fisk as mayor of New York. It's acknowledged here, it's part of the story, but it's just the status quo. So as long as you're, like, generally familiar with some of the stuff that's going on in the Marvel Universe and Spider-Man's universe, you're fine. This is unique in Marvel in that it's a book not predicated upon the current continuity too heavily. And I really do appreciate that. The nice thing about this is Peter runs into a detective who's willing to help him out with stuff, which is surprising to him since, cops usually don't like Spider-Man that much. And she says, well, you saved my whole world, because in the last issue, Peter saved a guy and his daughter from a moving van that they drove off a bridge. It was her family. And that's a really sweet little connection. Technically, it's contrived and it's very convenient, but it worked out. Side note, this teaser right here is just the definition of overkill, and it's kind of hilarious. Anyway, so yeah, Peter gets some help from her. There's a funny bit about the fact that the spider suit doesn't have any pockets. I like that quite a bit. It is just fantastically awkward for Peter Parker. Tracks down this address that the bad guys are at, and yeah, that's when his neighbor shows up, his old lady neighbor, and she punches the crap out of this super strong guy and reveals that she's some kind of old superhero called the Rumor. Yeah. I don't know. I thought that was pretty good. It's fun. It is, again, generally accessible for Marvel in a way that a lot of things tend not to be, especially with Spider-Man, so check that out. Robert Emmett says, Ian, I want to read Spider-Man. Where should I start? Yeah, that's usually a problem. That's the joke I kind of always have, and so this seems like a good book to just jump into Spider-Man with. Yeah, I don't know. I was pretty happy with this book. Not much else to say on it, though, so I'm just gonna move along. Talk about Guardians of the Galaxy, #1. This is something I'm reading because I really, really enjoyed Cosmic Ghost Rider. I thought it was crazy, off-the-wall fun. And when I saw that Cosmic Ghost Rider was going to be in this, but more importantly, that it was going to be written by Donny Cates, who did the Cosmic Ghost Rider miniseries, I was like, okay, yeah, I'm down for this. Let's go. And yeah, this is a really great premise for a book, especially given that I know fuck all about current Marvel cosmic continuity. And I was pretty happy with this. Is Guardians of the Galaxy off the wall crazy or not? It definitely is. But the plot here is pretty good too. So apparently Thanos is dead, and not just maybe he's dead, maybe he's not. His body is missing his fucking head, and all these crazy, powerful, cosmic Marvel characters have gathered at Thanos' funeral. So we got Beta Ray Bill, Cosmic Ghost Rider, Silver Surfer, Howard the Duck. Just a lot. A lot of people are there. And they are gathered for, some information. But a hologram of Thanos plays, and it says that he is surprised that he died untimely, but he did prepare for it. And apparently his brain, or his mind, is inside someone else's body. And he laughs at the idea that the heroes are gathered there, going to, frantically try to figure out who. And yeah, it just kind of starts to develop this crazy thing where the nowhere, the giant celestial head that's also a city, is missing, and then suddenly this gathering of all the heroes gets just attacked like crazy by it, and it's just crisis mode. And then the Black Order shows up, who are Thanos' minions, and they steal the body and release a device that rips a hole in space-time, and everyone gets sucked into it. And then Star-Lord and Groot show up to try to figure out what's going on, and they get they grab hold of Beta Ray Bill's hammer attached to Cosmic Ghost Rider's chains, and they haul who they can of the survivors out. Apparently Silver Surfer's dead. Don't buy it, but whatever. Silver Surfer's dead, and the Nova Corps there saying, no, we're going to question these guys. You have no ability to tell us to fuck off, because the ability to tell us that we need a warrant to question anyone on your ship only extends to your crew. And Quill says, they're with me. This is my new crew. And you get this big reveal of who the new Guardians of the Galaxy are. So we got Groot and Quill, Beta Ray Bill, Cosmic Ghost Rider, and some chicks. Who I have no idea who these characters are. They get mentioned earlier, they get name dropped and stuff, but I was like, yeah, you two. That's cool. Really just a who's who on this one. What are their names? Oh, I'm just left so confused. Heather Eros is right. So the bald chick's named Heather, and the chick with the star and the white hair is named Phyla. So yeah, Heather and Phyla. Cool. I like that Groot has a mohawk, but I don't like that Groot is using normal talking. Highly disappointed. I don't know when that happened. I disapprove. But the moment I really like, because I love that Frank Castle, Cosmic Ghost Rider, is still just a pain in the ass, says, wait, no. I ain't signing up to be a member of the damn page turn Guardians of the Galaxy. That is a great title drop. That is a great use of the page turn. That's just, that's so, I love that moment. That's magnifique. Really great. So this is just a 6-issue first story arc, which for Marvel that is a bit much. I would prefer if they just left that as the end of the issue. I really think that should be the end of the issue. It does have an epilogue, and the epilogue is good, but I really feel like the stronger ending was to leave it on the page turn. But we see the Black Order talking about resurrecting Thanos and how Death wouldn't be okay with that and all this stuff. And even no one should defile death. Not even Hela, goddess of death. So Hela's, I don't know, trying to get into Thanos' pants or something. Those two seem like a much better couple than Thanos and Death. Lady Death, rather. Thanos and Hela, those two really seem like they'd be all in kinds of into each other. So yeah, pretty good issue. Nice opener. I'll give it the 6 issues. I will give it, on the strength of Cosmic Ghost Rider, on the strength of Donny Cates, and on the strength of this first issue, I'll give it 6 issues. To see if it can really win me over to a long-term reading the whole run. But I'll give it the first 6. I think it did a good enough presentation there. Alrighty. Ian, all you need to know of Marvel Cosmic is that currently broken since most space empires are destroyed. Don't ask how. Okay. If you enjoyed Taylor's work, you should pick up the trades of his all-new Wolverine run with Laura Kinney. That was the first thing of his I read, and I've been following him since. Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Also, Taylor's Power Rangers vs. Justice League book is also great. Keep that in mind. Does Cosmic Ghost Rider even need a team? No! No, he fucking doesn't! It's ridiculous. We saw him in his own series kill an entire alternate Marvel universe minus Galactus. Like, there really is no need for a team when it comes to Cosmic Ghost Rider, which is why putting him on a team is the best idea ever. Moondragon, daughter of Drax, and the other is daughter of the original Captain Marvel. Okay. Good on Donny Cates. Pick on the one bit of romantic relationship of Hela and Thanos had in Jason Aaron's Thor run. Oh, cool. I didn't know about that. Cool. Alrighty. Let's go ahead and move on and talk about Batman number 63, guest starring Constantine. This is the end of the Nightmare story arc, and it's where we're getting like our answer for what is this? What's been going on? And Constantine is kind of here through the story as the voice of reason, which when the voice of reason is Constantine, that's a problem. But we get like this just ow kind of moment wherein we open with the wedding day where Bruce and Selina were going to get married. But instead of her running out, she shows up. And that's just like that just breaks your heart, man. Because right there, you already know this isn't real. And it's everything you'd hoped it'd be, but it's just not that. So Constantine keeps trying to talk some reason into Bruce, saying that it's all a dream, he doesn't realize what's going on, that this is all just going to turn into a nightmare and Catwoman's going to die and it's going to be awful. And Bruce just keeps ignoring him because he's with her and he's happy. Which is... Oh, God. It's so hard to read King writing this relationship all over again. It's only been 13 issues, but, like, this would be the mark for a year after the wedding. If we were in normal comics right now, this would be putting you in the spot of, okay, last issue, she left him a year ago. Even if that time hasn't passed in the book, it's passed in real time. And so you get to this issue, and it's like, this would be the first issue after a whole year of not reading these two together. Ow. That's just painful. So, like, you see this kind of, like, perfect little world that they have together, and how Batman's sure that she's fine and self-sustaining on her own and all this stuff. There's this, oh man, this whole scene between Bruce and Selina as she talks about the clock and the secret way to get into the Batcave, and how tragic and weird that is, and how she's just trying to incrementally make him realize what's not healthy in his obsession with his parents, what's making it worse for him. And so you just see, like, what would have been working about their relationship, how she would have been in ways incrementally making him better. And you just get, like, tragic shit like this of them kissing again. It's really hard to read this because of how invested you were in the relationship, and to see it all over again. And then eventually you get to the point where Constantine finds him on a rooftop and Selina's dead in his arms, and he says, "Joker?" And she's like, "No." And Batman says, "Sniper." It was like, Dick, the Beast maybe again. I don't know. And he looks over and says, "What is this?" And Constantine says, "They got you strapped to some machine using scarecrow grass to induce this, all of this. Whatever came before, whatever comes next, they're trying to drive you bleeding mad. You're here to help me? To get me out?" No, I'm sorry, friend. I'm here to tell you you can't get out. You'll never get out. You will go mad. Not that you'll remember in the next one, but maybe. You're not John. No, Batman, I'm not. No one knows you're here. You're quite alone. I'm just like everything else around here. Just like you, really. Just another dream becoming just another nightmare. why does it always have to hurt with Tom King? It's so painful constantly. And that's the end of the story arc. So like the young Bruce Wayne and the nightmares. So apparently, the ends you're supposed to draw from this, as far as the wider story is concerned, is Thomas Wayne, Batman, broke into the Batcave, stole back the Penguin, or killed him, beat the shit out of Alfred, and kidnapped Bruce, taking him back to someplace where they're pumping him full of Scarecrow venom and giving him, or Scarecrow's gas and giving him nightmares. So that's okay. I guess we're gonna just, leave you in a place like this. Sorry, if I don't look at the text, my phone will buzz at me again. I don't know. It's a really, really interesting arc in the wider scope of the run, but I also really like it because each story just works really well on its own. The next two issues are a brief pause to go do a crossover with The Flash. I'll probably end up buying the corresponding issues of The Flash just so I can get the full story. Williamson didn't wow me with Flash or anything, but he wasn't angering me. I just wasn't enough to make it worth keep reading. Otherwise, I think that's all I've got for the single issues this week, so that's cool. What's going on in the comments section? Remember the theories before Ragnarok came out where people thought Hela was going to be the MCU version of Death and she'd survived to Infinity War? No, I don't. I'm kind of glad that didn't happen. Cosmic Ghost Rider versus Seisha Man, or however you say it. One Punch Man. From One Punch Man. Who wins? Saitama. Why can't I remember that shit? From One Punch Man. Who wins? Probably Saitama. I mean, I guess. What does the Power Cosmic do? And can he avoid getting punched? Because it's not like Frank Castle, Cosmic Ghost Rider, is going to try to avoid the punch. But he could blast him away with Power Cosmic beforehand, I guess. And I don't know if the Penance Stare will do much to Saitama. It's kind of default Saitama. You need a really good argument that anything Cosmic Ghost Rider's got is going to work. McPick about Batman number 63. I like to think Constantine represents the Pyrrhic victory that Batman fears, because if anyone fit that description, it's him. Not sure about that term. I don't know what that means. Bruce, why is my voice of reason telling me to smoke cigarettes, support Liverpool Football Club, and fuck Demon Hellspawn? Those all seem like rational decisions to me. It's always desperately serious when Batman has to turn to Constantine. Yeah, it's a good point. Robert Emmett, to quote DBZA Vegeta in regards to my feelings on Cosmic Ghost Rider, that's really dumb, but he's so cool. But that's so dumb! Yeah, I got the Vegeta shirt and everything. It's cosmic-y and it does cosmic shit. That's awfully convenient. That's the Power Cosmic. Still probably one of the best moments in the Silver Surfer book. Alright, well, I need to do some Googling real quick because I can never remember the name of these arcs. Oh no, I remember the name of this arc. It's called Citizen of Earth. Still need to find it in the book real quick. I'm getting closer and closer to being done with this run, and I'm like, no, it's so good. Yep. All right. Well, I'm gonna be beginning trade talk, everybody. Hope you enjoy. Quit doing that. All right. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Trade Talk. We're continuing Dan Slott, Mikel, Allred Silver Surfer run by going on to the next volume, which is Silver Surfer Citizen of Earth. I'm, of course, reading this in the omnibus, but Citizen of Earth spans issues 1 to 6 of the 2014 Silver Surfer series. It's hard to believe that it's... Or no, 2016, I'm sorry, 2016 Silver Surfer series. It's hard to believe that it's already time for a renumbering, but that's just how Marvel do. In this one, in this arc, the Silver Surfer and Dawn decide to return home, return back to Earth so Dawn can see her family again because she's gotten a little homesick. It has just a dynamite opening where Dawn's father is told by her sister to quit watching the news because it's not like if Dawn's going to come back, she's going to show up there. And then just randomly, aliens take over the airwave broadcasts and begin speculating on their message of death and destruction. When the Silver Surfer punches through with Dawn on the back of the surfboard, she taps the camera and starts talking to the people of Earth in order to get a message to her father. He's like, hey, we're coming home. And just in the meantime, you got Norrin in the background laser blasting people. It's hilarious. But the aliens ominously said that they were coming to plunder Earth's greatest resource. But anyway, Norrin and Dawn arrive back on Earth. They see that Eve has gotten pregnant while they were gone, which is actually really exciting because she got married too. And then Dawn thinks about all the things she missed out on, all the holidays, and we see that the family thought of this and got everything together for a Happy Hollow Givings Birthmas celebration for Dawn, which is really sweet. Anyway, they celebrate, but then suddenly, as the night goes on, movies stop playing, books start leaving, no one can remember stuff, art's falling away from the canvas. Neat little shout out to Madman, Mike Allred's creator-owned series. And the aliens from earlier have stolen all of Earth's culture, its greatest resource. Dynamite moment. And then they've tapped into the power of what they've stolen to fight Norrin, combating him with the strength of every protagonist ever. And this is a special panel right here. Alright, so we got Tron, Harry Potter, Morpheus, Doctor Who, James Bond, and the Bride. Not sure who the ninja is in the background. That's great. That's so good. So they start fighting, and Dawn can't remember all of these heroes, but she knows something's familiar about them. And I just love these panels because you get to see all the references. There's RoboCop, Willy Wonka, Ula. That's super fun. Anyway, she realizes that the people that Norrin is fighting can't hurt them because they've always been there for her. And that even if they are just aliens in the guises of these characters, that they are now part of those characters, and the characters themselves know that they are there for the people, not to hurt them. And so they realize that and give up their struggle, giving Earth back its culture. But then that foreshadows the next story arc, why did these people come to steal our culture? It's because it's about to be wiped out. Who's it going to be wiped out by? Dun dun dun. And that's when we get a flashback in the next issue to Zenla and how exploration and astronauts and all that kind of stuff, cosmonauts, were not allowed because they too greatly scared people, or they too greatly affected the cosmos because of what Zenla was. Zenla was the perfect civilization. And then you get Zenla attacking, and they're turning the Earth now. The survivors of Zenla, including Norin's former wife, are turning the Earth into a new Zenla, like they've done with countless civilizations across the cosmos. So they're erasing Earth culture and replacing it with Zenla culture, and they've done that to not Jack Kirby. They've done that to the Thing, who looks, God, Mike Allred style, it looks so Jack Kirby there, the way he draws Thing. They've done it to the Thing, converting him to their culture and their way of life. And so Surfer has to fight him and try to save the world and everything, and it's this multi-part epic struggle against everything. And this is a great page. I love me some villain speeches that just set it up for the hero to make the great big stand. Not just your pet planet Earth. We have used the Illuminatrix to reshape thousands of worlds throughout the cosmos, bringing peace and happiness to all who dwell there. All have received our blessing, and now the perfection that is Zenla. And know the perfection that is Zenla. You once sacrificed all to protect our world and its culture, my beloved. Do so again. Stand with us. Stand with me. What say you, Norin Rad? I stand with Earth. I love shit like that. Shit like that, so fire to me. So there's more fighting, and the stuff happens. It's just a lot of craziness. Eventually, Norin finds that he can take off a piece of his silver and put it on someone as a ring, and that will make them immune to the changes of Zenla. So he's able to get the Thing back under control, but the Thing has summoned the Avengers, and they're all immediately converted, so the situation is getting worse by the second. And ultimately, Norin decides that there's only one thing to do, not only to save the Earth, but to save all worlds, and that is to use the power cosmic against the Illuminatrix and wipe out Zenla culture so that it cannot, Zenla culture, Zenla history, Zenla-ness, so that it cannot wipe over existing worlds, leaving everything but a faint glimpse of a memory that's not even truly there. And this pushes Norin to his limit. He practically dies, but for the silver exo stuff he's left on his friends, and that's allowed him to survive. The whole world saw him save them, finally, which is really surprising for the Silver Surfer, because usually he doesn't get that kind of credit. And so the whole world gives thanks to Norin Rad for saving their lives. And he's able to recover in a hospital, but not before the Zenlas, the former Zenlavians, begin to try to attack, and it seems like they're going to try to kill Norin. So all the heroes stand together to try to stop or halt the attack, but Norin's former wife gets through and gets to the hospital bed, and eventually tells Norin that she doesn't want to kill him, but he's made it abundantly clear that he wants nothing to do with Zenla, and so Zenla wants nothing to do with him. and he's now completely exiled from his own people. It's got a tragedy to it. But that's okay, because Norrin has stood with Earth so many times, and this time gave the ultimate sacrifice, so that if he is no longer a citizen of Zenla, he is offered citizenship on Earth. Which means very little to him until Dawn says, "Let me be your home. Let this be your home." And then Norrin agrees, and is very happy. I love this big 2-page spread. It's so sweet. This is usually kind of like the tool used for a big action moment or something like that, but it's just so heartwarming here. I absolutely adore it. And then we get some antics with Norrin on Earth. And everyone loves him. He's been granted citizenship by every country in the world simultaneously. So he's the very first truly citizen of Earth. He goes to a baseball game and signs the baseball for the players. He goes to a performance of Hamilton, and the actors tell him what a pleasure it was to perform for him. He's autographing every single piece of Earth culture and memorabilia since he saved it all. And he's not ready for it. He's always been a bit lonely. He's always been a bit, bitter that he doesn't get, any kind of admiration. But now it's all coming at once, and it's overwhelming him. And he doesn't feel like he deserves it. Then he finally finds one person who's not happy with him, and that's because the old Fantastic Four comics, which in the Marvel Universe, and I did not know this, I think this is fantastic. In the Marvel Universe, there are Fantastic Four comics because Reed Richards chronicles his adventures with his friends and family and sends them to a comics publisher to draw up and sell. I think that's great. So this kid with these old Fantastic Four comics says that Norrin ruined them because by removing Zenla culture, he removed every remnant of it. So even the old comics now don't truly show what Zenla looked like. It's just white clothing everywhere. It's kind of crazy. Lots of stuff happens. Norrin fights the Nick Fury on the moon. God, that's the dumbest shit. And talks to Dawn about her mother and all the maybes, all the could-bes. And then offers to find her mother for her. Apparently, we've all kind of been under the impression, I feel it was very firmly implied that Dawn's mother died. But Dawn in this issue reveals that no, her mother left. Just left her family and never said a word. So Norrin uses a stray hair from an old hairbrush of Dawn's mother and tracks her halfway across the country to San Francisco, and just shows up at the back window, and Dawn's freaking out because Norrin just doesn't get why this kind of thing is a problem to do without asking. Meanwhile, there's a whole thing with a squid and stuff. It's just the B plot, really. There's cephalopods that take on the form of your greatest fear, and Peter Parker, billionaire, is investigating them and surprised by their existence. So that's the B plot. That's kind of summing everything up, and yada 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 yada. Dawn talks with her mother and says, "I was the girl on the TV that was talking in front of all the aliens getting beat up, and here's all my adventuring that I've been doing, yada 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 yada." And meanwhile, Spider-Man and Silver Surfer team up. Love Mike Allred Spider-Man. Looks great. This just doesn't really have much to do with what's going on. It's all the greatest fears. So there's the literalized subtext that comic books do really well as Dawn confronts one of her greatest fears, which is meeting her mother. again, and all the questions she's had. In any case, Dawn has to go and help defeat all the bad guys, and save Norrin. But in order to do so, she puts herself at risk and loses a lot of blood, and they've got to get her a blood transfusion. Dawn needs O-negative blood, which is exceptionally rare, and so they're looking for someone to donate. And then she sees her mother just off in the distance as she's about to black out, turn and walk away from her daughter in need. So that's a pretty shitty way to leave that relationship. Dawn wakes up in a hospital getting a blood donation from her sister because Norrin flew her halfway around the country. They seem to be waiting for Dawn to wake up before they eat. Dawn wakes up and doesn't even want to say goodbye, doesn't want to do anything, just wants to go off into space. And so Norrin takes her without really a second's thought, as Dawn replicates what her mother did, to an extent. And it's actually at this point where I know where the series is going to go, and that is just a heartbreaking moment that's being set up for later on. So that's, ouch. Another really, really good arc. I really like how these issues are built and structured, in that they set up or they continue these long-running narratives that really go back quite a ways. They laid the groundwork for a lot of stuff, but they never get overly complicated or overly plot heavy. Like, a lot of the issues, if it's not a single issue one and done style where you can read it without getting overwhelmed, it's 2 to 3 issues. Like, that's just really refreshing kind of storytelling in comics that you don't get nearly as much as I feel we should nowadays. So yeah, really great series, getting closer and closer to the end of this absolutely thrilling and fantastic omnibus. Really, really enjoying it. Hope you guys are enjoying me talking about it and ranting and raving about how good it is. Anyway, until next time, bye!